I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is you over 30 years ago.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
And this is your mom when you drive her back from therapy.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. AARP gives you the information to help care for your mom so that you can have patience with her, just like she did with you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving or call 1-877-333-5885 to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one.
Are we there yet?
Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP, we help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, would be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very, very tough episode tonight of Game On here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I am your host, Joshua Silverberg. Usually I'm a little more uppity. We have the great intro. We do all that, but I didn't feel like tonight would be the moment to do that for sure. And get to everything that has gone on in this last week. Something that has affected me a ton. And I actually wasn't going to do the show this week. I actually was diagnosed with COVID. Me and my whole family, my wife, my son, everybody is doing very well now. We're all good. My son had a fever. His fever is no more. He's all back to his normal self. Same with myself and my wife, and everything of that nature. Before we get to everything that we want to get through tonight, you can check us out if you have an iPhone. Download the great app. It's free at WWSRN if you have an iPhone, Apple Store if you have an Android. Go to the Google Play Store at worldwidesportsradio.com. You check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, so much more. And I want to thank Speedy Petey as well for being here with me this evening and everything like that. I still got chills when I heard the 10-bell salute. And that was when you saw the picture of a man that has been one of my favorite wrestlers and a part of my favorite tag team of all time. He was in Ring of Honor. He's better known as Jay Briscoe, the real name, Jamin Pugh. And on Tuesday evening, we got these very somber news, and I still can't believe it was real when I read it from confirming it from president of AEW and Ring of Honor, Tony Khan. Basically confirming that Jamin Pugh had passed away in a car accident. And I don't want to give misinformation, but from everything I read, Jamin was taking both of his daughters, Gracie and Jaylee, home from cheerleading practice when a car was going on the wrong side of the road, and Jamin did not make it. The woman in the other car did not make it either. Currently, both, Gracie and Jaylee, Gracie 12, Jaylee, I believe around 6 or 7. I don't want to say the wrong thing about how old they are in very critical condition. They're doing okay right now. It's a very long road to recovery. And I of course, I'm representing with the shirt tonight. I want to send out my thoughts and prayers, my condolences to Jamin's entire family, to his wife, Ashley, his parents. Obviously, we all know Papa Briscoe, that are wrestling fans, and of course to his brother Mark and their whole family. Mark and he were as decorated of a tag team in the sport of professional wrestling. And I do want to give this update in regards to Ashley posted it this morning. It's a little long, but I'm going to go with it. Bear with me here. Currently, the girls are stable, but they both have very long roads to recovery. Gracie, who was 12 when she originally got into Nancy Cook Hospital, she couldn't feel anything from the waist down. She was diagnosed with a L2 dislocation and an L3, L4 fracture in her back with compression on her spinal cord. After Nancy Cook got her stabilized, they transferred her to another hospital, and she got feeling back in her thighs, but nothing lower than her knee. She was taken straight for an MRI and surgery on Wednesday morning around 3 a.m. The doctor was able to relieve the compression on the spinal cord, and surgery went as well as expected. When you have trauma to your spinal cord, it's a waiting game. Really quick, I can alert to that. My C5, C6, I have a cage in my spinal cord and my neck. She has feeling in her thighs, but no movement as of yet. Gracie had tingling in her feet on and off today. Her progress will be day-to-day basis for months to come. She is bruised up pretty badly, but at the time, no other injuries have been diagnosed. As far as Jaylee goes, she was diagnosed with an open tibia and fibula fracture in Nanticoke Hospital, where she underwent surgery. They placed an external fixator on her and sent her back to the hospital. She has been diagnosed with a C7 fracture in her neck and has been placed in a neck brace, which she will be for 4 to 6 weeks. She also has an L3 and L4 fracture in her back, which she can be managed with a back brace for about 12 weeks. She has a right clavicle fracture from the seatbelt, as well as broken rib on the right side. She has a small left pneumothorax, which is the air between the lung and the chest wall, not inside the lung. They're just monitoring that it's not large enough for intervention at this point, which is a blessing. Today, she was diagnosed with a perforated bowel with free fluid in her abdomen. She had some internal bleeding in her stomach area. They knew about it, and they were watching it, and today they were able to pinpoint it and find out where it was. That surgery went awesome. That got in there and got the bleeding under control and got her on the mend. She went to the OR for that today. They did bowel resection, which means they took a little of it out. Nothing that is long-term effects. While she was down there, the orthopedics decided to do another wash on her leg and some manipulation to the bones for better alignment. She still has the external fixator in place, and they place an NG tube down her nose to decompress her stomach. They will take it tomorrow, and it will allow her to eat. The girls are in a lot of pain, but they're hoping for a good night's sleep. So when you hear that, it's very tough to read, and I like to really share this as well. I donated as well. It's called givesandgo.com. I'm gonna actually type this into Speedy now, and then Speedy can post it on the bottom as well, so they can, I just want to make sure I spell it correctly. Basically, this is the donation page for the Pew family. Any little thing helps. Givesandgo.com. Pew love. Okay. So I just sent it to Speedy. Speedy can post that on the bottom of the ticker as well. And when I think of the Briscoes, for those of you that remember me on Off the Mat with Lyle and Alex, I always said that, and Speedy, if we could also have that throughout the entire show on the ticker, that would be great for donation as well. Thank you so much. I always used to argue this with Alex and Lyle, and I used to say the Briscoes are the best damn tag team on the planet, hands down, easy, no debate. You're a 13-time tag team champion. Now I'm gonna pull up. Like I said, I know I'm a little thrown off tonight, so bear with me. I want to give the accomplishments of the Briscoes and why it was so important and why they were as great of a tag team as they were. In Combat Zone Wrestling, they were 2-time tag team champions. He was with Mark. Extreme Rising, match of the year with Mark versus BLK Out versus Los Dramaticos. Extreme Rising moment of the year with Mark Briscoe debuted in the cage match against BLK and Los Fantasticos. Full Impact Pro, tag team champion with Mark. Game Changer Wrestling 3 times with Mark. House of Glory, former tag team champion with Mark. Impact Wrestling with Mark. Jersey All Pro Wrestling with the Insane Dragon. National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA, won the Crockett Cup in 2022 with Mark. In New Japan, was a former IWGP Tag Team Champion with Mark. And won the Never Openweight 6-man tag team belts with Mark and Toriano twice. NWA Wildside Tag Team Champions with Mark. The Premier Wrestling Federation once. United States Champion. And he won the tournament as well. Was ranked number 7 on the top 500 wrestlers in the PWI Pro Wrestling Illustrated in 2015. Pro Wrestling Noah GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship with Mark. Pro Wrestling Unplugged Tag Team Champion with Mark. Rio Championship Wrestling with Mark, and the tournament. Ring of Honor was a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. Was a 13-time Tag Team Champion with Mark. Won the Honor Rumble. Raw Ring of Honor Year-End Awards won 7 times with CM Punk Award with Mark. Tag Team Champion with Mark. Feud of the Year versus Kevin Cena and El Generico with Mark. Tag Team of the Year in 2019 with Mark. Feud of the Year versus GOD 2019. Tag Team of the Decade in 2010s with Mark. Tag Team of the Year in 2021 with Mark. Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. Squared Circle 2-time CW Tag Team Champion with Mark. USA Extreme Wrestling with Mark. And a Tag Team of the Year in 2007 in the Wrestling Observer with Mark Briscoe. What that tells me is this guy was a legend in this business. He was somebody really, when you, like I said, when you dive deep into what Jay Briscoe did for this business. And I know, obviously, early on, said some things about, excuse me, I believe it was about like the gay community and everything like that. And he was very young, naive. He made amends for it. He made up for it. Guys like Effie and others came out and said he couldn't have been a nicer guy. When you're young, you do silly things and you say, silly things. And to me, Jay Briscoe was as real as it gets with the promos, as great of a wrestler as he was with Mark. I remember I got to see him twice. Once at G1 Supercard with Lyle at Madison Square Garden, and once with Lyle at Hammerstein Ballroom in 2019 against GOD at Manhattan Mayhem in a New York City street fight for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And, to me, when I look at this, and like I said, if people don't want to listen to the wrestling part now, that's fine. You don't have to. We're going to get to football a little bit later in the show, do some baseball. We'll try to get back to some realism and everything like that. But this is something that Mark Briscoe was an originator in Ring of Honor when it first came out. I think what Tony Khan did, giving him a tribute show at the end of the show, was great. Fine. It's unfortunate that people at Warner Brothers did not and would not allow Tony Khan to give him a tribute show because of what happened years ago, but they'll let Dana White keep his slap show on WB. And they'll let what's-his-name play The Flash, who breaks every law in the book, and they'll let him keep doing what they're doing, but they won't let them do a Jay Briscoe tribute because something that happened 20 years ago plus. 20 plus years ago. Yeah, that sounds hypocritical to me and about right. But Jay Briscoe had many great moments. Jay Briscoe to win 13-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions is unheard of. And there's a video that came out of him with his daughter practicing during the pandemic. If you want to search it up, there's a video that came out of him with his daughter practicing a cheerleading routine. And everything you hear about Jamin is great father, great husband, unbelievable family man, did everything for his family first. And he loved the wrestling business and he loved helping people. The wrestling community came out nonstop the other night. And they supported Jamin. And they gave love to him that he deserved. And this is something that, it happened with Brody Lee a couple years ago. Just happened so fast, you don't realize it. To me, I think the Briscoes are going to go down as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And this is where, if you're a wrestling fan, you need to come out and support Mark. We need to give love to Mark. And we need to show him the love that he deserves. Because that Briscoe name needs to be carried on. And This has been very hard for me the last few days to read all these statements. And one of the biggest things um, I will regret is I never got a chance to meet Jay Briscoe. And that's going to haunt me forever. And it's going to hurt me for a very long time. Lyle and Alex know how much I love those guys. I remember at Hammerstein Ballroom, everybody was cheering for God because they were Bullet Club. I was one of the very few cheering for the Briscoes that night. They were unique. They were different. They were, their chicken farm in Sandy Fork, Delaware, to the great videos with the promos they did on YouTube, where Jay mouthing off, cursing and yelling while Mark is in the back saying rambling things and eating something. It was funny and comical. And that's what made them special. But then you hear the outpour of guys like Adam Cole and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the Young Bucks and all of these people that have come out, among many more, Moose, Sami Callihan, Bully Ray, the list goes on and on. About how, Mickey James said it. CM Punk even came out and said something, how important that this man was to all these wrestlers' careers. You could try to replicate it. You're not going to duplicate it. You're not going to duplicate the Briscoes. You're not going to ever be able to do such a thing. They were as unique, as different, and as wild and as out there as they were. They gave their life, their blood, their sweat, and their tears for this business. There will never be another tag team like them. They were the pioneers of Ring of Honor. And they could have went somewhere else. They chose to stay at home with Ring of Honor. And then Tony Khan did everything he could. And even Nick Jackson came out in an interview recently of the Young Bucks and said, we did everything we could to get them on AEW. They just, WB would not let them do it. But they'll let Dana White have his stupid show. No, he's out slapping his wife in public. That's nice. So, to me, again, and the donation website is on the bottom. Please support them as much as you possibly can. Cherish every moment of your life. Love everyone around you. Don't ever go to bed angry at someone. Hug and kiss your wife, your children, your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever, your friends, every day. And tell them you love them because you don't know when it's going to end. And for all this, they closed the school district down in their town. That's how important Jamin was to them. I know we're overdue the time. Had a feeling we would be. But like I said, don't mind me with my COVID as well. So just with the little bit of a, issue, stuff like that, trying to get going with it. But like I said, we're going to have some other conversations. We're going to talk a little World Baseball Classic, why we think those that are in it are going to affect those teams that are playing during spring training. Speedy and I are going to do our NFL playoff picks. Speedy got me last week on one game because the Chargers chargered, as they always do. We'll do our buzzer beater. And we will power through. But like I said, I'm forever grateful I got to see Jay Briscoe wrestle in person. I will always cherish that. And the sad thing is, it was when Jay passed away on Tuesday, it was Mark's birthday on Wednesday, his brother. And I know last year Mark and his wife were having issues with pregnancy and stuff like that, with COVID and stuff, and the baby made it and stuff. So they've been through a lot the last year or so. But just pray. Pray for Ashley. Send your thoughts and prayers, condolences. to send your thoughts and prayers to the whole Pew family as well, and everything. Send your thoughts and prayers to Mark, to Ashley, his wife, to Gracie, to Jaylee, to everybody. Please keep them in your hearts, for sure. Thank you, Jay Briscoe, for everything. And this doesn't even do it justice, these few minutes. But I definitely need a breather. You could tell how I sound. So when we come back, Speedy's going to join me, thank God. And we're going to get into our football picks. Divisional round is this weekend. Is Speedy going to pick the Giants? Will he do it? That and so much more. We're going to continue with Jay Briscoe tributes as well throughout the show. You'll hear it every time we come back. This is Game On here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Yes. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, here on Game on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. A little theme music of the Briscoes right there. Thank you so much to the fans for letting me do that part, tuning in for sure, and everything of that nature. And Reach for the Sky, awesome song. So everything like that, you can dim it down now, Speedy. And if you'd like to come on in now, my ears have popped now with the headset on. This sucks.
The sky's the limit for the headphones? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, man. Well, first off, I want to apologize to you for giving you so many different things to do this week with this show. And everything like that, and
I do like that song though.
It's a great
guitar. It's a great guitar.
Oh, it's fantastic, and I'm sorry to the fans for getting a little. I'm sure Speedy, you heard it. I got a little emotional talking about Jay there and everything like that. The guy meant so much to me as a wrestling fan. Speedy, you remember how much I used to talk about them on
Yeah.
Off the Mat.
Again, I told you off air. It was one of the few wrestlers I actually remembered the name of because you brought it up a lot on your show between Jay Briscoe himself and the Briscoe brothers.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I tried so hard to get them on the show as well, and it just never followed through. And again, as I said, my biggest regret, and I told Melissa this the other night, my wife, I said to her, I was sitting in bed with her, and I said, one of my biggest regrets, and I said it earlier, is going to be that I am going to live with this, and that's never getting the chance to meet Jay. And it's going to suck, and it's going to hurt and haunt me forever. And I hope I can meet Mark someday, and just tell Mark how much his brother meant to me as a wrestling fan. You want comedy? Go watch their promos with Papa Briscoe. It's just with their dad. It's so funny with some of them. And then go watch that video of Jay during the pandemic doing the cheerleader routine with his daughter in the house. That's being a dad. And that's being a real dad. And that's why I cherish every moment I have with Caleb every day, because you don't know when things can change at any point, at any moment, at any time. And again, if you could donate as well to givesandgo.com/PewLove, anything helps. They've already reached their goal. Speedy, I know, I'm sure you heard what I was reading about his daughters and what they're going through.
Yeah.
And it was long. And first a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old or a 6-year, I don't know how old she is, should not be having to go through stuff like this. Losing their father and now having their life completely flipped upside down, both physically and mentally. And it's going to be a long road of recovery for them. And it's just really unfortunate. And everything like that. But again, I don't want the whole show to be somber. That's not what I'm here to do. It's also my nose. I sound like garbage. When you have COVID, Speedy, you know this. You sound like crap. But we're gonna power through it, and we're gonna get to our football picks. So, Speedy, I believe you have the records of both of us. Speedy is leading it right now.
Like you said before the break, the only one that was a disagreement last week was the Chargers at the Jaguars, and they had a nice 27-0 lead to the Chargers, and then they showed everybody why I always call them the least clutch team in football.
So I was
a new way to lose.
I was at Speedy knows I was in the city last week with my wife. We were out for went to a nice steakhouse, Uncle Jack's Steakhouse. Shout out to them.
Yeah, you guys went to see Phantom of the Opera, it was?
Went to see Phantom of the Opera because it's closing. It's my favorite Broadway show. For those that don't know, I do love Broadway. And I texted Speedy during intermission. And I said to Speedy, I said, good thing I picked the Chargers now. And Speedy goes, yeah, Lawrence doesn't look so good. No, and I said, yeah, well, I said, yeah. I mean, maybe it was good. And the show's over. And I think the score was like 27.
It was 27-0 at halftime.
And then when the show was over, I believe it was I think it was
30-20 at the end of I think the start of the fourth quarter.
Yes. I don't know. And that's when I saw it. And Jacksonville had the ball. And I went, oh my God. I said, the Chargers are going to lose this game. Yep. It's so typical. And I bet you remember I wasn't confident in picking the Chargers.
I know.
I was not. That was the team them and Minnesota were the two teams I was least confident in picking.
Oh, yeah. Those were the two expected.
I should have stuck with the Giants. I had the Giants all week, and then I flipped it on Friday, and I said, I'm gonna go with Minnesota. What a mistake that was. It's never happening again. But let's get to our picks for this week. So, Speedy, if you want to play the music, and we will get to our picks this week. And we'll start with the first game this week, and that is Kansas City and Jacksonville. I would say probably the least exciting game on the schedule, due to, I guess, with how separated the teams are in talent and stuff like that. But let's not discount how good Jacksonville is playing. They're playing on a whole other level right now. And they looked like garbage 2 weeks ago against Tennessee. They're lucky they won that game. And to come back from 27-0 to win that game, this is gravy for the Jaguars. This is they have no pressure on them in this game. The Chiefs have all the pressure on them in this game because the Chiefs, people are expecting them to get to the Super Bowl or at least get to the AFC Championship game, and this is house money for the Jaguars. To me, if you have the spreads as well, Speedy, if you want to pull up the spreads for the games, yes, I'll keep rambling with my nasally voice. It's great. To me, when I look at this game, listen, kudos to the Jaguars. Ton of credit to them. This is not the Los Angeles Chargers you're playing. You're in Kansas City. You're facing Patrick Mahomes with a week off in between to get the bye.
Chiefs are favored by 9.
So the Chiefs are favored by 9. So that's what Vegas thinks. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to take the over. Oh, man. I'll stick with the money line on this one. I mean, it could be an over. It could be a drubbing. It's going to be interesting. I want to see how Lawrence performs on the road. Listen, if Lawrence throws 3 or 4 interceptions in the first quarter, he ain't coming back against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm sorry. That he's not doing. It's a different animal. But the Chiefs' defense is very sketchy. Let's not forget that. They've played well the last few weeks. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one.
All right. I think this is a very easy over. I love the over in this game because of the way the Chiefs' secondary depth is all very young all at once. They have 2 rookie defensive backs, McDuffie, who's played well, and Brian Cook, who's a second-round pick. But still, the Jags' receiving depth is still very good with the 2 Joneses, Zay Jones, who I call the Charger Slayer, who had a long touchdown last week against the Chargers, and Marvin Jones has been a good receiver for quite a while, and obviously still having Christian Kirk, who took a while for him to get going, but still I think is a good matchup advantage against the Chiefs because he can move around so much. L'Jarius Sneed is a good slot corner, so I think that'll help contain Zay Jones, but McDuffie and, again, a lot of the other corner depth that they have is still not great. So I think that's an area Trevor Lawrence will be able to attack. The Chiefs' strength is stopping the run, but Jacksonville really hasn't run for a lot of volume since Etienne's been hurt. He's coming back from injury, but still hasn't run the ball great. He ran the ball in the third quarter, and I think that was a big key for the Jags' turnaround against the Chargers. They really stuck with the running game and not try to force everything on Lawrence after he threw 4 interceptions. That being said, I don't think they'll be able to run for a high volume, and that's going to make it hard to keep Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs off the field because the Jags, the strength of their defense is also stopping the run and rushing the passer too. But the Chiefs' offensive line, while Orlando Brown is down this year, is still a very good offensive line. So I don't know if they'll be able to get the consistent pressure like they did against the Chargers at the end of the game. So when you have that combined with their young secondary too, 2, I think, second year and rookie safeties, a rookie second year corner. And Tyson Campbell's played well, but still, that's a lot of matchup advantages for the Chiefs there. And the Chargers' leading receiver is Gerald Everett, 109 yards. So have fun with Travis Kelce as well. So I do think the Jags keep it close. I do think the Jags cover. I like the over in this game, but I am going to take the Chiefs 34-28.
Okay. Wow. So you make it close. Okay.
Yep, I do think
all right.
Close. Peterson and Reed, too. They know each other, so they're going to.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair to say. I would agree with you on that. The next game, it's a game that I know piques your interest. You'll be on the edge of your seat for this game. It's very tough to beat a team 3 times in a year. We know that. And we've seen the Giants do this before. Philadelphia, the Eagles, who are Super Bowl contenders, and the Giants, who, just like the Jaguars, this is gravy for the Giants. There's no pressure on the Giants in this game. None. 0. There isn't. And I believe the line was 7.5?
Yep.
Okay. So, to me, it's interesting. Danny Dimes looked great last week. Now, that's a Minnesota defense that just fired their defensive coordinator. Minnesota's defense was awful last week. Which is no disrespect to the Giants' offense, but again, it's the Vikings' defense was awful last week. Hurts is off the injured list. The shoulder clearly doesn't bother him anymore. He got a bye. Got time to fix it. You're going to have to cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They have a nice offensive line. If Lane Johnson, who is supposedly going to play, okay, their run defense is not great, Philly. Remember that. Their run defense is not great. Their pass defense is good with Darius Slay. Their run defense has been iffy all season long. If the Giants have a shot in this game, Saquon's got to be Saquon like he was last week. If he doesn't play well, They're not winning this game. You're asking a lot. I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. It would not shock me if the Giants won. It would not. If the Giants get to the NFC Championship game in Brian Dable's first year, throw him a parade down the Canyon of Heroes just for doing that. That's a miracle in itself with this roster. It's crazy. With this roster, they have no business being where they are. But here they are. And if they win this game, they're going to the NFC Championship game. And if they get to the NFC Championship game, I don't know if you really want to play them. But I do think Philly is going to be too much for them in this game. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch out Cowboys. If both the Giants and Cowboys win, I think the Giants will beat the Cowboys this time around. But...
Oh, the Cowboys will be the home team too.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great. It all over again.
You could beat him in Jerry Road again.
2007 all over again.
Who's going to cry about who the quarterback is like T.O. did about Tony Romo? Is it going to be CeeDee Lamb crying about Dak again, say that's my quarterback?
Yeah, well, CeeDee Lamb will be crying about plenty of other things. Based on what Wick Martindale did to Justin Jefferson in the last game, which was very impressive. He had 4 catches on the first drive and then only 3 the rest of the game, and they were all short. Just 7 catches, 47 yards, and that's a big key. I actually like the matchup as well for them to be able to contain A.J. Brown, because one thing of what they did with Jefferson, the other thing, too, is Adoree Jackson was his former teammate in Tennessee. He knows him. So I think that familiarity will help.
Who's containing Devontae Smith?
That's the one I'm worried about, because the Giants have a lot of smaller corners that are more young guys, a rookie in Cordell Flott, who I think is a good slot corner, but still is very inexperienced. And Fabian Moreau has been all right, but still.
And Hurts can move in the pocket, Speedy. Hurts can move in the pocket.
I like the matchup for Smith, though, because of his versatility. And then also Dallas Goedert, too, I think is the matchup advantage against the Giants. I think they played a lot of 7 DBs last week, but they're going to have to use a lot more 3 safety sets if they want to try to take him out. And that's going to be very hard to do when you have to have faster guys to be able to contain Hurts running. Now, the outside rushers, if Ojulari is healthier than he was last week, which he should be, could contain Hurts on the outside running, but they also do a lot of QB draws with him and a lot of exotic inside running. And that's what I'm a little more concerned about, because I don't think, while Dexter Lawrence has been fantastic this year and Leonard Williams had a great game against the Vikings, maybe his best game since his 2020 season, then the Eagles' interior offensive line is still not as bad as what is a lot better than what the Vikings are. Jason Kelsey's.
The Eagles are better in every phase of the ball.
Yeah,
than the Vikings are.
The Eagles have arguably the best center in football with Jason Kelsey. Solomalo's a nice guard. And remember, last week for the Vikings, Garrett Bradbury was playing hurt, so he wasn't even playing at full strength.
Lane Johnson is back this week too.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's full 100%.
Now, I do think the Giants' run defense, where it was really bad in the beginning of the season, has been a lot better the last month of the season. So I don't think their raw running game will be as good, but I do think Hurts running is going to make a difference in this game. So I like those matchups, and I agree with you on Smith. I think Smith is the guy that's going to have a big game, as well as Goddard. Now, on the Giants' offensive side, you're right. Saquon is going to have to pick it up, especially, I think, receiving, too, because
this is a bad run defense. He should be able to do well.
It's a down run defense for their standards, and the Eagles are more of a 4-man rush team, a lot like the 49ers. So I think pass catching running backs could be a blitz counter for them, and also Daniel Jones could be a blitz counter for them. But the problem is, I don't know if you're going to see the same level of success from somebody like Isaiah Hodgins matched up with James Bradford.
I mean, every ball that was thrown to these guys last week, they caught.
Yeah, and also
everything except the one Sladen dropped.
Right.
Which is the easiest one.
Yeah, I also don't know if they're going to have the same level of success on third down. The Vikings are an iffy third down, are an iffy third and long defense. They're actually good third and short defense, but the Eagles are good on third down.
Do we know what the weather's going to be there tomorrow?
Cold, but not. I don't think there's any precipitation that I've heard. But yeah, that's the one thing I don't know if they're going to be able to do as effectively. I'm hoping they can get Daniel Bellinger more involved, but I think that'll be hard. And also just the raw offensive line too. Your interior played well last week. Will they be able to do it against Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis and all those guys? Linval Joseph, the Dolphins, too. That's a deep.
Oh, just to let you know, they're getting a top 10 draft pick this year as well, Phil.
No, I know.
So it's great.
Yeah, they are. So I think
the rich get richer.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the hardest matchup for them on that interior offensive line, which will force Daniel Jones to be flushed out quicker a little more often. I do think he still runs a lot on the design runs, but that's really it. I do think the Giants keep it close. I do think they will cover, but I am ultimately going to take the Eagles. I think they can hold it with field goals. We'll keep the game close for a while. But give me Philly. I'm going to say 23-17.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you this before we get to the next game, which is Buffalo-Cincinnati. Are you happy with the way the season is?
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens.
I was happy of them making the playoffs. I had them 6-11 at the start.
I mean, that's the funny thing is that I see Giant fans on Twitter and stuff. They're saying, "Oh, they better win this game." I'm like, why did they have to win this game? This is gravy for them. They're like the Jaguars. They have no pressure. The pressure's on the Eagles.
Oh yeah.
There's no pressure on the Giants.
If the Giants do win this game, though, this is full blown revenge for 2008. Though, when the Giants were the 1 seed and the Eagles were the 6 seed, and the Eagles upset them on freaking David Akers, ruining on a game winning.
There is no pressure on the Giants in this game. None. This is gravy for them at this point. They were not even supposed to be here. So to me, I'm going to take the Eagles. You're going to take the Eagles as well. All right, to the Sunday games. One of the more intriguing ones, I would say probably the more interesting one of the weekend. Cincinnati-Buffalo, because and I don't want to sound insensitive, so I'm going to watch what I say. I know everyone always says just say what you're going to say and whatever, but for here, I got to think about it for a second. If the Bengals win that game on Monday night a couple weeks ago, the Bengals are hosting this game, not the Bills. The Bengals would be hosting Buffalo this week. Instead, Cincinnati's got to travel to Orchard Park this week to play against Josh Allen and company. Damage on the offensive line for Cincinnati. A lot of damage on the offensive line for Cincinnati. We've seen it. I believe their whole
3 offensive linemen are
all out. But now the guys that are coming in were on their offensive line last year when they went to the Super Bowl run. So they have experience with this. It's not the same. We've seen Joe Burrow play on the road in the playoffs. We've seen what he does on the road. Everybody said it last week. Oh, Joe Burrow struggled against Baltimore last week. He struggled last year at home against who did they be in the first round last year?
The Raiders. But
the Raiders.
He got it going in the second half.
Exactly.
He struggled more against Tennessee.
That was what it was. And he got through it. I like where the Bengals are. In my eyes, I think the Bengals are a good matchup for this. God, Skylar Thompson almost went to Buffalo last week and almost beat the Buffalo Bills. That frightens the hell out of me. It really does. I don't like how Buffalo's defense has played. I didn't like how their defense played last week. They were still giving up big yardage. I know it's Hill. They did well against Waddle. They couldn't stop Hill.
Wait, Waddle beat himself. He had 3 drops.
Exactly. And Gesicki had a nice game too. Josh Allen, I believe, threw 2 or 3 interceptions.
2 interceptions and lost a fumble.
Allen hasn't looked great. And to me, that scares me a little bit. And if you're asking me to pick in a big game, am I going to pick Burrow or am I going to pick Allen? I think the record shows I'm going to take Joe Burrow. Because Joe Burrow went into the same building. Now it's because they didn't get the ball in overtime. Remember that. But it still happened. I think the Bengals are a scarier team right now because I think the Bengals know they were going to beat Buffalo a few weeks ago. I think it was in their mind. They were going to. Because they were cruising. They were winning 7-3, and they were driving, right? And, excuse me, and then the thing happened with DeMar and everything like that. I trust this Bengals team. I don't trust Josh Allen right now. Something's off with him. I really think he misses Brian Dable a ton. That's my eyes. He really does. There's a lot more turnovers from Allen this year than last year. And it's no coincidence that Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over that much anymore. Give me the Bengals in this one. And I believe the spread is Buffalo's favored by 5.5. Give me the Bengals. Give me the under. I think it's going to be a close game. Give me a 3-point game.
Alrighty. So this is interesting because, like you said,
that was a mouthful.
Like you said, there's 3 offensive linemen that are out, including both starting tackles, Jonah Williams and Lyle Collins. Now, you're right. These guys do have scheme experience. And
I remember Speedy, really quick, they didn't play well against New England 2 weeks ago either. They didn't play well against New England 2 weeks ago. And they didn't play well against Miami last week either.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is a lot of people are saying that if the Bills last year would have beaten the Chiefs in overtime or whatever the whole coin toss controversy with all that, they would have gone to the Super Bowl. I actually don't think that with the Bengals. I think the Bengals actually matched up well with the Bills last year with the way that the Bills secondary was decimated. Now, this year they got Tre'Davious White back. Micah Hyde is on the active roster. I don't think he's going to play this week. He's probably in line to play next week if they advance.
And I think that's motivation for Cincinnati, by the way, because they're seeing that Buffalo's already selling tickets for that neutral site game. They're seeing that. Cincinnati's seeing that.
Well, I hope that it succeeds just as well as the 49ers invading the LA last year with all the red. That was great. the revenge of Ticketmaster when the Rams were trying to manipulate the whole process.
Yeah, well, it still didn't work.
It worked to get the fans there and create a rivalry.
Yeah, still got the 49er fans there more.
But of course, Jaquaski Tart had to drop an interception, so that didn't help ideal. But going back to this game, I do think the Bills' pass rush, though, this year is a lot more developed than it was last year. Last year, they really had a lot of trouble, especially off the edges, rushing the passer. That's why I think the Bengals would have beaten the Bills in the AFC Championship game last year, too. Now, this year, since Von Miller's gotten hurt, their guys have still played better. Greg Rousseau's had a great year. Boogie Basham has been very underrated for this.
I love that name, Boogie Basham.
Yep, on the outside. And Matt Milano leads the league in tackles for loss. And that's going to be, I think, a tougher matchup for the Bengals to get a more complete offense. You mentioned the coaching last week was not great with the Bills, and I 100% agree. But it also wasn't great with the Bengals. I've been very skeptical of Zach Taylor as an offensive play caller, game planning type
I'm
guy.
questioning Sean McDermott now.
I'm more questioning the assistants with them, not really as much McDermott. But
why does he never get blamed? Why does McDermott always get a free play?
I think the defensive...
His defense was the one that allowed the loss to Kansas City last year.
No, I get that. I think sometimes, though, with Zach Taylor, sometimes he trusts his talent a little too much, and he creates bad situations for Joe Burrow, and that has really hurt them at times this year at taking that offense to the next level. It's why it's been kind of inconsistent. Jamar Chase, he had a great rookie year. This year he's played well when he's been healthy, but it's still kind of inconsistent. Same kind of thing with T. Higgins. He was slow to start this season, got it going in the second half. And that's a lot of that has to do with coaching. The other thing that hurts this year has been their red zone offense has not been as good because they haven't been able to run the ball as
well. They can't run it, and they lost Usuma, which was a killer.
Mm-hmm. So I think that'll hold them to field goals just a little more. So that's why I'm going to slightly favor the Bills' offense just a little more, just because I trust their consistency a little better. I like the way Dawson Knox has played the last couple of weeks, and I think that's a good matchup advantage for the against the Bengals.
Are you telling me Eli Apple can't shut down Stephon Diggs?
Oh. No, now the question is, will he get more penalty yardage, or will Stephon Diggs get more receiving yardage? That's what we'll have to hope for. I do like Dawson Knox as a matchup advantage, though, too, because of the way Mark Andrews played last week. I think they could exploit those kinds of things. They love to spread him outside. I think the quicker slot receivers as well could be a very interesting matchup as well, whether it's Shakir. If they activate Isaiah McKenzie, it'll be another interesting one. Because I don't think both teams are going to be able to run the ball very well in this game. The Bengals have had trouble with it all year, but they have a great job stopping the run. But I just trust the Bills' offensive line a little more healthier, and I trust their red zone offense just a little more. And I don't think you're going to see Josh Allen turn the ball over as recklessly like he did last week. I think he will learn from that. So with that, I'm going to take the Bills. Close game, 27-23.
Okay, that's fair. All right, and then the last game, which I think the Cowboys got completely screwed on the scheduling because they had to play Monday. San Francisco got to play Saturday. Therefore, the Niners had 2 extra days. The NFL didn't realize that when they were doing this. Oops. Again, it goes back to last week when I questioned their scheduling tactics.
It'll give Cowboys fans something else to blame when they
look, I believe the line on the 49ers Cowboys game is
it's 4.
4. Okay. Listen. It was impressive what Dallas said on Monday. They completely just decimated Tom Brady. That was one of the worst I've ever seen Tom Brady look. I was shocked just watching how bad he was when it was 6-0, and they're in the red zone, and he throws an interception, and I was like, I hope their kicker, Mayer, knows how to kick an extra point this week because that's not going to fly with the 49ers. If you make those mistakes. Exactly. And everything of that nature. I don't think Dallas is going to have that success. They faced an 8-9 Tampa team. Look, that's the worst division in football this year, the NFC South. It was. Tampa's not that good. They're not going to. Dak is not going to do what he did against the Bucks, against the 49ers this week. Now, if he does, and he does it again this week against the 49ers, they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't care. Then I believe they're going to the Super Bowl. I don't believe they're going to win this game. I think San Francisco's defense is going to be too much. I think they have a perfect spread. DeMeco Ryans is a very good defensive coordinator. We keep constantly saying that, right? About 49ers defensive coordinators. They're great, right? They're awesome. Too many weapons in this game. Dak's going to be under duress a lot. I think it's going to throw him off at some points. They got to travel to the West Coast. They're on a short week. I think the matchup is perfect. We saw it in the first game against Seattle. Purdy was a little off, right? Probably nerves, anxious, everything. Then they got together. It went from 17 all to 41-17 in a matter of 5 seconds. Didn't take long. And I remember everybody was saying, Seattle's keeping it close. And I kept saying, give it time. And then that time happened. And to me, I think the 49ers are going to win this game. I think they're the ones that are going to the Super Bowl. So to me, I am going to go with the 49ers in this game.
All right. By the way, Marilyn Silverberg, 49ers beating Dallas 40.
Yes, that would be my mom talking. She's a 49er fan. You know she's a 49er fan, so you know that's why she's a little biased there, but that's okay.
Oh, so I guess for the last 10 years, when it comes to these playoff games, your dad has had to not watch with her, being a Packers fan.
Yeah, because my dad always expects that when the Packers play the 49ers, the Packers are going to get their ass kicked.
Oh,
that's always the news that he gets, and he knows it. He says that, and it would have happened this year if they made the playoffs. Green Bay.
Of course,
and they would have played the 49ers.
This would have been the worst. I think this would have been the biggest blowout.
and they lose to them every freaking year.
Yep. And I think this would have been the biggest blowout, even bigger than 2012 with the whole Colin Kaepernick 180.
Oh, when Kaepernick is still running outside the stadium from those missed tackles by Green Bay's defense.
But yeah, I'm with you. I like the 49ers for a couple reasons. I think the Cowboys secondary, well, it did prove a lot against the Buccaneers receiving core. Brady didn't have a lot of time to throw the ball. I don't think you're going to have the same kind of issues. The Buccaneers offensive line has been, it was decimated in the offseason with a couple offseason losses. Ryan Jensen was playing on a torn PCL, torn MCL, shoulder issue. Like, he had a couple bad snaps that were definitely notable. You could tell he was just playing through every pain imaginable in that game. That's not going to happen with this Niners offensive line. Now, again, their interior offensive line.
This is also the best team, Speedy, that he's playing Purdy.
That's
the
fair.
Best team he's going to play.
Now, again, I don't think Brock Purdy's going to have this insane statistical game either. I think he's going to make some key throws. Like I was saying with the Bengals red zone defense, I think Dallas will keep him to field goals a lot of the time to keep this game close for a while. But I do think the Niners have two matchup advantages with the secondary depth. And Dorrance Armstrong was, I thought, going to be an X factor for Dallas on the interior, but he left the game twice in that Buccaneers game. So how healthy will he be? And we'll be able to get the interior rush the same way they can get the outside rush with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, here's the other one, I think, too. Kyle Shanahan loves to use George Kittle as a blocker. Don't be surprised if he uses him a lot to chip Micah Parsons and design rollouts for Purdy. You saw him a lot throw to the left and the right in this game. Not necessarily rollout plays like
just remember the offensive lines are very different between Tampa's and San Francisco's.
Yeah, of course.
It's very different.
And the Niners tackles are really strong too.
Well, Trent Williams is going to be on top of Parsons.
Oh yeah. But I also think don't be surprised if Kittle is used as a blocker.
I could see him chip blocking.
Yep, because he does that a lot in the playoffs.
Yes, he does.
He really hasn't had any big receiving games in the playoffs. He's really been all blocking games in the playoffs for him. Here's another name to watch too: is Jawan Jennings, a guy that can stretch the field. The Cowboys, outside of Trayvon Diggs, since Anthony Brown's gotten hurt, have had a lot of trouble with big plays on that second corner spot, whether it's Kelvin Joseph or Jordan Lewis, whoever they put over there. I like Jawan Jennings, and I like Brandon Ayuk to run some deeper routes too. I think the Cowboys will be able to shut down Debo because he's more of a yards after the catch guy, and I think their linebackers could do that. But I think Debo running could be interesting, and McCaffrey receiving could be interesting. I think there's just too much.
Ayuk as well. It's too much.
I love Ayuk's route running.
It's too much.
And you saw in certain stretches at the end in the second half of the season him get a lot better with his defense.
Oh yeah.
So
it's too much. There's too much for Dallas to cover.
So I think those are the two matchups I like for that. And then on the offensive side of the ball, the Niners allow 80 yards per game on the ground. That's going to be very hard for Pollard to get going. Zeke was horrible last week at 27 yards on 13.
And that was against the Buccaneers defense, which was garbage.
Yep. So I like that. And Pollard receiving, I think he'll still do well. And I think Michael Gallup receiving still could do well, but I don't really like any of the other advantages. CeeDee Lamb on Charvarius Ward, I don't know I think that'll cancel out in a sense. And you're right, Dak Prescott's been kind of inconsistent. I think this is a game where he's a little more turnover prone. I think they will start very slow in this game. A big letdown after the win, like you're saying, a short week. So I think they're going to have a hard time coming back in this game. And by the way, Brett Maher will miss a field goal.
There we go.
So give me the San Francisco 49ers 30-20.
Well,
And
Speedy.
by the way, before you get to that, we do have a caller. We got Kenny on the line.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
What's going on, Kenny?
I like shows with Mr. Speedy.
Yes.
Well, he's as entertaining as it gets.
I'll be coming to the network.
He says he'll be coming to the network. Yes, Kenny's show was on a trial run last.
Kenny's show is on a trial run. He's coming to the network now?
And I made a little Facebook message asking for anybody that likes sports. They want to, they own a business. Right.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks, Kenny. We got to run right
I'm
now.
gonna tell people on there, if you own a business, call Errol on break.
No. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it.
All right,
Speedy,
Kenny, hold on. Let me just ask, Kenny, what's your score pick for the
I
Giants?
think I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to beat the 49ers. 49ers look too good.
All right, quickly, Kenny, before we let you go, what's your score pick for the Giants?
I would say I think if the Giants win, they're probably just going to win by touchdown. I mean, a field goal. If they lose, it's probably going to be like by touchdown.
All right, so close game, you have them by a touchdown. All right.
All right. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate
They
it.
still could win. Errol pointed this out also.
No, well, Errol's a genius sometimes.
But that all comes down to Mr. Hurts' day. If he's having a bad day and he only plays like 60%, then they'll win.
Mm-hmm. No, that's definitely possible.
But if he's having an epic day, like, oh man, that guy's playing like 80%, then the Giants aren't going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he. What does Mr. Host think of this?
What do I think of this? Listen, in my opinion, when I look at how the Eagles are done, like I said, this is all gravy for the Giants. They have no pressure on them in this game at all, period. I want to see, now they took Hurts off the injury report with the shoulder. I'm very curious if the shoulder is indeed still bothering him. If he does get tackled on it, because Hurts likes to run. If you notice Hurts is not running out of the pocket as frequently as he normally does, clearly the shoulder is a problem still, and they don't want him to get hit. I do think the Eagles are going to be too much for them at this point. The Giants have had a great run. They played a really crappy Vikings team last week.
What do you take on Sunday games?
Sunday games. I have Cincinnati going into Buffalo and beating the Bengals. I trust Joe Burrow in a big game on the road in the playoffs. Josh Allen has looked terrible the last 2 weeks.
Might be right on the Bengals, but anybody could beat anybody any given Sunday.
Of course, absolutely. Listen, the Bills are the favorites. They're favored by 4, if I'm not mistaken, by Speedy. They're favored by 4. And if the Bengals would have been the Bills 2 weeks ago, they would be the home team in this game. And also, don't forget, Kenny. Let's remember this. You don't think the Bengals realize that they're seeing that the Bills are already selling AFC Championship game tickets for
All right,
the fans?
I do a countdown tomorrow with the one Steven.
The what?
The what?
Explain that a little further for the listeners, Kenny.
I do it on AMP with just one of the Stevens, the younger one.
Okay, well, the listeners do not know who your Steven is.
I was going to say, the listeners don't know who the Stevens are.
Okay, I'm just saying, well, maybe the host of this show can check it out.
Okay, I will go check it out. I promise you, I will check it out. Promise. And then as far as the other game, I think the 49ers are going to beat the Cowboys.
At 1:30.
1:30 tomorrow. Got it. Wait, we'll check it out. Well, thank you, Kenny, for calling in and everything like that.
Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This network at noon on Sunday. Check it out, everyone.
Perfect. Can't wait. Thank you so much. Look at that. We got a new show, Speedy.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Did you know about that?
Yeah, he had a trial run last week.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. I can't hear everything he's saying. Maybe
no. He was giving you props on the new show.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for the call.
Thank
like
you,
I said. So we'll end the show quickly with a little bit of the World Baseball Classic, and Speedy's gonna end the show. We have another little tribute from Leonard Skinner that's gonna play a song after. They're not actually going to play the song, but we have a recording of it. And this is my buzzer beater. So Speedy, if you want to click the buzzer beater now for it.
Well, I have the song. You want the song?
No, do the buzzer beater first. We'll end the show with the song. We'll fade out the show with the song.
Here we go.
Look at this. Here we go. We're going to do it. We got it, Speedy.
No, we don't. Stupid.
No, we don't have it. Come on, Speedy.
The stupid ad had to pop up.
Oh, the ad.
Here we go.
There it is. Boom. And that's on the World Baseball Classic. And I was talking to Speedy about this before the show went on the air and everything like that. And pretty much, and I want Speedy to stay with me to the end because I want to get his thoughts on this quickly. The World Baseball Classic, you notice a lot of teams are losing a lot of players during spring training this year because they're all going to play for their countries or their heritage in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, we saw now Brandon Nimmo is going to play for Team Italy. Came out of left field. Mike Piazza is the manager of that team. Please don't injure Brandon Nimmo in that tournament. I beg you. Here's the thing. I think, in my eyes, in my opinion, I think younger guys are going to be able to step up for their teams. Will it hinder the chemistry in regards to pitcher-catcher situations? Yes, it will, especially when you're joining new teams. I think the Mets have like 9 guys in the World Baseball Classic, if I'm not mistaken, which is a lot. You're going to see Sangos on Japan, Alonzo McNeil on USA. I don't know if Verlander's there too. It's all over. But Nimmo's on Italy, Escobar's on Venezuela, Lindor's on Puerto Rico. It's everywhere. So is this going to hinder it? It could. It sucks when your team's trying to compete for a championship rather than a team that's crappy and stuff like that, which I'm used to, everything of that nature. But to me, I think it's going to hinder the team all around. Speedy, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a little different than hockey when we've seen these Olympic breaks in the past, which are actually in season. I think it's a little different with baseball because you're right. It's something that is going to affect the pitchers and catchers in the spring training timing more than anything else. And how much in a larger sample of days that will be for a World Baseball Classic that, again, hasn't happened in a while because of COVID. I think they had to cut it out the last time.
Yes, they did.
So again, it's a little different circumstances now, different players. I'm curious again how that'll be for the young players because they're the ones that maybe don't have the experience. Like some of the older players have played in World Baseball Classics before for their countries. Now,
I mean, it's an exciting tournament. I love it.
And again, especially for somebody like Brandon Nimmo, like you were saying, playing for Italy. I don't know if Italy was in the last one too. Like they're not known as a baseball country as it is. Like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, all those countries. They
got Nimmo, they got Mancini on this team. They got some pretty good guys on the team.
They got some talent.
Yeah, just got some things to work with.
Right. So it's a country that is on the rise that, again, isn't known for that. So that'll be an adjustment process. I think all Mets fans are going to be rooting for Mike Piazza to be able to succeed with that team and be able to grow the team, especially with Nimmo on it too, like you were saying. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting more for the younger players than it would be for the veterans that are more used to that kind of thing and how they'll adjust. But it's a lot of time. In baseball, it's always, every game will still matter to an extent, but it's still the earlier part of the season where I don't know if it'll hurt them as badly as something like hockey, where they have the Olympic breaks and then players are very rusty because they're tired coming back right away and then they have to go play NHL games. I think it's a little different of a scenario there. So I think it's more the younger players more than anything else.
All right, perfect. Well, Speedy, thank you so much for tuning in, for joining me this week. Again, we're going to see how the picks go. We have one game different, and that is the Bengals-Bills game. So if I could tie Speedy this week going into the championship round, that would be fantastic. Please, again, if you can, donate to support the Pugh family at givesandgo.com/PughLove. That is for Jay Briscoe's family and everything that's been going on. Obviously, Jay Briscoe, understandably, horrifically passing away on Tuesday night and everything of that nature. Very tragic. Again, listen to us and other programs as well on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We're on worldwidesportsradio.com. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Store, type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store, type in Worldwide Sports. I picked the Bengals snug. That would be me. Everything of that nature. Joe Cool, baby. Joe Burrow, Joe Cool. So all of that and so much more. We'll be with you next Friday. Hopefully I won't sound as nasally and congested as I do today. I'm still recovering from COVID. So that's fun and exciting. But like I said, me and the entire family are doing well. Don't forget to check out all the other shows this week, like the Weekend Crunch, Sports Loudmouths, Wise Guys. You can listen to Kenny's show on Sunday as well. What time was it at, Speedy?
12 o'clock Sunday.
12 o'clock Sunday, so right before kickoff. You can listen to Kenny's show. all that. You can listen to The Herd, The Bills Show, which they'll have reaction on Monday after the Bills Bengals AFC Divisional game. And, of course, Weapons Hot and so much more. So usually, like I said, we end with our thing at the end. Speedy's going to play a little. It's a tribute to the Briscoe brothers. One of their other themes called "Give Me Back My Bullets" from Leonard Skinner. So we're going to end the show with that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much again. Thoughts, prayers, condolences. Please go out to Jay Briscoe's family, his wife Ashley, his daughters who are in very critical condition, to Mark, and to everybody like that all around. Please support it as well. GiveAnsGo.com/PewLove. Greatly appreciate it. Anything would help that family. Thank you so much, Speedy. Have a great weekend. Good luck to the Giants tomorrow night. Enjoy it. Listen, just enjoy the ride, man. Have fun with it, and that's it. Win or lose, you got this far. You should be very happy.
I am
where they are. You know what I'm saying. So let's do it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Game On here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Hit it, Speedy. Have a good night, everybody.